It is held true in my conscience that it's immoral for the U.S. to give military aid to authoritarian countries. Military aid is aid in the form of training or credits given to foreign militaries to purchase weapons and equipment. In authoritarian regimes, are governments not constitutionally bound to their people. Self-determination is a human right that everyone is entitled to, and they'll only receive those rights if each culture is allowed to develop ideas and morals on their own, except for the UN Declaration of Human Rights. Therefore, cultural relativism supports self-determination by supporting developing cultures and ideas around the world without interference by the act of the United States. It also supports human rights because of their status as being developed by a global society, which means that first, we must consider the realities of authoritarian countries. Like the U.S. has a representative democracy, globally there is one as well known as the United Nations. They have representatives from all around the globe and create global ethical standards. One of the standards of the United Nations includes the right of the people to give their terms of government as specified by Article 21. Because authoritarian regimes do not allow the people to give their terms of government, it is inherently wrong by the global standard. These are the standards which should be applied globally, as cultural relativism shows us, because they are the only standards created by a global society. Self-determination is literally a human right and creates sustainably good and bettering societies. The United States should stop supporting these regimes, but should never give up on the concept of free development, empowering the people. Easterly 2014, writing for Time magazine, says, quote, in Ethiopia in 2010, Human Rights Watch documented how Zimbabwe selectively withheld aid-financed famine relief from everyone except ruling party members. Botswana, although drought-prone like Ethiopia, has enjoyed decades of success in preventing famine. Chile, Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan have successfully followed the path of free development, often in spite of international aid, not because of it. End quote. Despite already identifying certain problems, I have not gotten to the inherent problems which come with this type of aid. There are issues when countries aren't allowed to be autonomous, and it can contribute as well to instability. Implementation of American systems across the globe come at a heavy price and have directly resulted in harming the people. Thompson 2013 explained how military aid, which went to training and better policing, resulted in more corruption because the implementation of that policing system didn't take into account the justice system already there and its capacity to deal with and conform to that policing system. Essentially, this system directly harmed the people due to the faults that all military aid has in these regimes, that being that the donor country beefs up the military and police force of the regime, making an inherently unstable system with the other essential governmental functions much weaker. It's an easy answer when the question is posed bluntly. What happens when we give an oppressive regime powerful military and police with a weak justice system devoid of giving anyone their due? If the answer wasn't clear enough, Umlachev 2017 states that those regimes which receive this aid are, quote, more likely to experience higher numbers of civilian death by state military and police, end quote. This is also at a statistically significant level, as was shown in her study. Jonathan 2013 provides another harm inherent to military aid, saying, quote, as aid flows in, citizens of the recipient countries effectively become disenfranchised, as increasingly all their governments need to do to stay in power is to court and cater to foreign donors. Last but not least, military aid to unstable countries, if anything, serves to strengthen the military-industrial complex's influence. The military-industrial complex is a reality in our society. International arms companies often lobby Congress for contracts to get in on arms shipped to regimes through military aid. It allows them to sell more weapons and makes more money for the U.S. government as a whole. This increases congressional incentive for war as well as lengthening conflicts. This relates directly to U.S. action with regards to authoritarian regimes in the Middle East. In fact, during the Iran-Iraq War, while the United States publicly supported Iraq and vied for an Iraqi victory, they provided weapons to Iran. The United States, according to Harris 2013, provided United States military intelligence services to ensure, quote, that the Reagan administration's long-standing policy of securing an Iraqi victory would succeed. At the same time all this was happening, the Iran-Contra scandal took place, where according to Matthews 2018 writing for Britannica, the Reagan administration sold weapons to Iran in order to make money to provide a certain authoritarian regimes in Central America. These pieces of evidence incriminate the United States in not only selling weapons to the enemy to create revenue, but thereby lengthening the Iran-Iraq conflict also as a revenue interest. In short, the world should always look first to empowering all people, and amazing things will follow. Empowering the people first is not just what will create a better society, but what is necessary in order to give them their fundamental human rights. At the point the United States supports those authoritarian regimes and not free development is inherently a human rights violation. Beautiful things will happen when we believe first in people. Thank you.